All right, welcome into the year show for Soup Radio. I'm Greg. How you doing? All right. I'm like a little Black Sabbath rock and roll doctor to start the show off here. Because it's all about being a little bit sick, which is what I am right now. Okay. Well, show starts off today with a little bit of a topic that came up, and it's interesting. I think Mr. Joe Marconi started a question off and kind of was timely. Do you think we should be afraid of mobile mechanics as a traditional, brick and mortar location? Is this something to worry about? And it's a good question. We all know that mobile mechanics, as great as they are, there's something limiting um, that it's well from what I can see, and you're one person. One person is there, but the thing is that is there a purpose? Yes, there's a purpose. I think for mobile mechanics, and hopefully, bring a little conversation to everything. But I just want to give you some examples of what what took place with me, and it was kind of just because I'm going through this influenza A BS that really got me by surprise. But I'll, I'll admit, and I will be coughing. Excuse me, I will be coughing on this because this is going to be like a real deal. But I wanted to get something out, end of the year, and it was something came up, so I'm not going to slow me down. Anyway, um, I got this flu, and I didn't think about. Well, I guess I didn't think about calling my regular doctor and see if I can pop in. Normally, they have like, okay, I'm open, I'm here, come on in, and I can normally get an appointment within a few hours, sometimes maybe a day at the most. So I didn't do that. I also did not get a flu shot, which I did get last year, but I didn't get this year. Dumb on my part, and here and I got it after the holiday parties. You run down. It's easy enough to pick up a flu. You're over 65. You ain't got the stuff anymore, so you naturally become a little bit more susceptible, which I did. All right, so okay, I got it. No big deal. Lose my voice. I'll tell you, it was kicking my ass. Um, so I got to deal with it. But I went over to the urgent care, and it was my first time ever visiting an urgent care that I can remember. But what Joe was talking about kind of correlates to what I kind of experienced as if I was someone waiting for a home or a home visit from my friendly mobile mechanic. Now, I look at it like I used to have when I was a kid, and maybe some of you did too, but you got to be pretty old, I guess, to have a doctor that did house calls. And on that house call, doctor would roll up, and Dr. Georgie F. Can never forget this guy's name. Great doctor. Well, it's typical you could go back to 1960s and look at a doctor with a suit, tie, bag, trench coat, hat. I mean, it was right out of the TV screen. And Doc would come in and he would look at all three of us kids right there. So he'd have a bag full of stethoscope, what do you call the thing for the ear, uh, swabs, tabs, check your throat, make sure you're good to go. And if you needed anything, you may had a shot of penicillin, whatever. But he certainly didn't carry scalpels, uh, transfusion tables, kits, um, pints of blood, and all of that. So no major stuff was done. Quick exams, check you out. You had a cough, boom, boom, boom. Here's your prescription. Go get it. Well, I went over to urgent care, and it was the same thing, except it wasn't happening at my house. I went to like a relief center, and that's what I look at it as, a relief center. And I could have went to my regular doctor, as I found out, um, if I had taken the time to really think of it. But because of the way that I guess the medical insurance companies work, I didn't think I could go to my regular doctor. Look, I know it's crazy. I just don't know enough about it. Rarely have I had to been to the doctors, but in 2025, I've been to more doctors, more procedures than I ever have had in my life. And I have to learn all of these ins and outs now. So when I get older, I'll be better prepared. So again, you're gonna have to excuse me on this episode because I'm dealing with leftover influenza, and I'm cleared up like 95% of it. However, the remnants are sometimes you get an irritation, and you got a cough, all that stuff. Um, but getting back to that urgent center, it was a great facility, clean. I walked in. Um, I was waited on right away, although it took me about, I guess, maybe 30 minutes, I suppose, to actually see somebody who then proceeded with all the check ins, the weights, the heights. And here it is. What's really strange is um, there's a hospital group called Christiana Care here in the Delaware, Delmarva area, Delaware primarily, right? Um, and all my records are in that system. I could go to my portal, Christiana Care, grab grab everything that was done to me. I mean, from the stents I had put in to any visits at the hospital or any of their network. Well, I come to find out I'm in the process of being written up, the intake process. And she's asking me all these questions again. And I said, well, don't you have my records? And she says, oh, no, no, we're kind of separate. And I go, how are you separate? You're Christiana Care, then you got urgent care. Well, I guess the two weren't allowed to share HIPAA rules, I suppose. I don't know. But that was like, that would be the first thing. How are your records taken in? Meaning that if a mobile mechanic is just there for a spot check at your house or a spot repair, how does those records get transferred to a a your regular service provider? And I'm just saying, again, these are just steps that I think somehow got to get coordinated or whatever, even if the shop and the mobile mechanic are using the same type of SMS shop management system. Um, is there difficulty in getting the records from one to the other? Should there be? Is it something separate? Are there even records kept on a mobile site? And I'm sure there are. And guys, let me explain. I'm not here to tell you that one versus the other, but the question was raised by Joe Marconi uh, from Elite if we as brick and mortar repair shops should be afraid of mobile mechanics or the mobile mechanics um, proliferation, as I want to say. Um, and there were some examples. I think it might have been Eric Schmidt that put an example of what came in his service bay where someone hacked a fuel pump job. Instead of taking the tank down from the bottom, they cut a hole in the floor. Excuse me. So, cut a hole in the floorboard or in the trunk area in order to access the fuel pump to make it down and dirty quick and easy. And then they just riveted, not even they riveted, they kind of bolted it back in. Really jacked up. So, anyway, that was what he was explaining. And I took the house call doctor approach. No major surgery was done at your house. It was more inspection, whatever, and then you went something serious and you went to the hospital for further evaluation. And your prescriptions, he didn't carry them on hand, so that extra quart of oil wasn't available or whatever the case. I'm going to get into some weird analogies, so I don't even go there. Anyway, the thing is that there's a place for everybody in our fields, and it might seem like there's uh, a proliferation of the mobile mechanic situation. But what kind of client is that? For most of us, we maybe it's somebody that we don't want to work with, or somebody who, you know, um, thinks that they're getting away cheaper because they're hiring a mobile mechanic who doesn't have the overhead. Well, there was one gentleman who said that, well, he's got a bunch of friends that are really backed up with work, and they're looking for others to help out. I kind of looked at it like, well, he's probably backed up because, and again, I'm not a mobile mechanic. I don't know, but I don't know how the time is disciplined from one job to the next. If I take 2 hours to figure out a problem on a car at their house, and then I have to spend another hour and a half repairing it, parts, apps, etc. Even if I have to come back to that job with the part because I got to order it. All right. So the drive time, the I don't know of a client that's going to respect the talent in order to say, hey, I want to get paid for this second attempt or my second travel time, those kind of things. And I have no idea. So again, guys, I'm not saying right or wrong. I just don't know your true business model. I'm looking at it from the point of 2 hours of diag, 1 hour to fix, and then that's 3 hours. So I'm 8 to 5. I'm at 11 o'clock. My next appointment is at 12, but it's 20 miles away. I got to drive 20 miles, get to that. That's another 3 hours of time taken between diag and repair. Let's say that repair takes a part that I can't get right away, or I have to go get the part. So that's another, say, half an hour of getting that part. I don't know how many jobs one can do in a day while being on the road. And especially if you are working on multiple makes and models. If you go from a Chevy to a Porsche, there's a big swing there. And having all of your resources close by, I just find it that there are some things that mobile mechanics can be good at. It's kind of like, are we talking road service here type services, or are we talking full off repairs? I mean, if you're out of fuel, then sure. Or, hey, you want to fill my car up? To me, that's part of a service that could be incorporated into a subscription service. All right. And we've seen them all over the place before where, for a certain price per year, I'll come fill your car up. I'll come wipe your windows, or you can come to me and I'll fill your air in the tires. We'll check all that out. That to me, that's not service in a sense. I guess maybe it's concierge, but it doesn't it's not a true repair. So this is some of the things that I think may be different, but I don't really know. I don't participate in it. I do like the idea of house calls, no doubt. I mean, like I just said, hey, let's say for $200 a year, I come out to your house every quarter, right? So that's $50 every 3 months in between services or whatever the case might be. And I'll check your car. I'll do a quick checkup. We have the tools. I can clean your windshield. I can replace your wiper blades. I can look at your tires, fill them up with air. I can do that. Now, that is something that is technically would be a threat. That would be a threat. If I had to do a SWAT, that would be a threat. And the reason why is not because of what you're doing. It's because you're the first at the car. So, in the grand scheme of things, no different than me when I was selling gasoline and I had an air tower sitting on the side of the parking at the parking lot, and a case of sodas waiting. I was making the first impression. I was looking at the tires before you did. So if I had a chance to sell a set of tires, I'd sell a set of tires because I took the time to put air in them because I happened to notice it at the fuel island, and I said to Mrs. Smith, "Hey, let me check your tires." First, I was the first one there. You can't be late to the gate if you want to get the sale. So that is a threat, and yes, I think that is something where it's something to consider for adding to your own bricks and mortar business. personally, I mean, I think we contemplated that maybe about 10 or 15 years ago. And I think AAA actually wanted to shed some of its roadside assistance and parlay their relationship with AAA shops and put that in play. I don't think it really worked out because of AAA. But anyway, um, back in when we had a service station, we had two trucks on the road, and it was road service. Had a battery stall, needed gas, flat tire, jump start. No problem. We would come out. We would service the neighborhood. So we would expand um, no more than 2.5 miles. I think was our circumference, was our radius, and we had two Ford Broncos, the original Broncos, 69 we had and a 72, and so I believe that is a possibility, and I would look at that because again, like I said, um, when you make your first impression or your first call, you're the first at the car. That's when you can win the war on client acquisition, and that's what I would take that as. So I think as dealers uh, really start to look at their market, and they can have somebody on the road replacing wiper blades all day, or checking air in the tires. They can do that. Will they do brakes? I don't know. I couldn't imagine how an HOA would allow automotive repair to be done in the driveway in some of these neighborhoods. There's exclusive laws that these HOAs will have. Plus, there's environmental laws. I really don't think that it would be a go. It would be green light. I don't know, but I'm saying that from an overall marketing position, having a road service could be an advantage to shops' overall business models, and that's for not everybody. You have to know your limits, know your area, and you got to know what you want to do. Um, I couldn't see anybody going into a high crime area. No offense to anybody that is, but I couldn't see it. Would you risk your team to do that? For guys who are doing it full time, mobile mechanics, what do you talk about, or what do you feel about going into neighborhoods that have issues? All right, they're not safe. You know it. They even know it. But you're requested to do service. You just say no and don't show up. You come, I mean, or just don't promote in that area. Uh, good things, good questions. So anyway, that's what we're kind of like talking about. And Joe Marconi actually spurred me to get on here. As terrible as I might sound for this episode, I felt that it was just something that I had to get on and you know talk a little bit about. But it's a little bit of Doctor Feel Good. I wish I could feel good right now. Motley Crue. I'm going to grab a little bit of a drink here myself. Uh, I hope you like a little bit of metal, right? All right, the boys from Motley Crue. Playing a little bit there for you. So, anyway, I hope you have a great new year. Looking forward to a really good 2026. No matter what might come our way, I think we're going to be quite well off. I think the market's looking pretty good for us, and I want to be able to say, thank you very much for all the support for 2025 as I try to get myself back in a groove. And boy, I'll tell you, this is a challenge. This episode is a challenge. So I hope it comes out okay. In the meantime, please, everybody have a great new year, great 2026. Thank you very much. and we'll see you maybe in a week or two. We got a lot of things going on. Hey, if you want, Soup Radio is available with the podcast, Apple, Spotify, and Google Play, or you can listen live. To go to soupradio.net, or you can go to the App Store, app only right now, Apple Store, and download the station. Actually, this is a full broadcasting station. We will have episodes from not only myself, but from others, and hopefully you'll be able to take a listen, and we can play a lot more tunes there than we do in here. Anyway, we're going to have Dr. Feelgood just continue to take us out, the boys from Motley Crue. There we go. And thank you once again. Greg Buckley, signing off. Soup Radio. Thank you.